First tonight, right now at 11 o'clock, we are bringing you 4 live views of different roadways in Kentuckiana. The Watterson, the Gene Snyder on the upper right, I-65 on your lower left, and there's I-71 in the Oldham County line on the far right. Rain everywhere. Roads soaked by heavy rains at this hour. It has been coming down hard all night long, and also happening right now. That temperature is dropping. We've got a fast-moving winter weather system on the way through Kentuckiana tonight. Hi, everybody. I'm Doug Proffitt, along with Chief Meteorologist Mallory Snell. And Mallory, you've also got snow showing up on that radar tonight. Just where is it? How close to Louisville?
Yeah, so it's off to our west and northwest. This is where that coldest air is filtering in behind the front that we had moved through this evening. So one cold front has already moved through. We actually have a secondary reinforcing front that's going to cause those temperatures to plummet overnight. So that's where you're seeing a few of these very spotty flurries or spotty snow showers on the backside of this main system here. Temperatures have been dropping. We're down to 46 in Louisville, but take a look off to our west and northwest, 30s, 20s, and teens. Thankfully, we're not looking to get this cold, but some of this air will be filtering into our area. You can tell still in the 50s in eastern Kentucky, but not for long as that cooler air continues to fill in behind the front. So the heaviest rainfall, the gustiest winds now off to our east. And as we carry on into tonight and those temperatures drop from the 40s into the 30s, potentially even into the 20s, we could see some lingering flurries or even some spotty snow showers into your Friday morning. And of course, we'll talk much more about these temperatures plummeting and what you can expect in your Christmas forecast coming up in just a bit.
And now we've got late breaking news here at 11 o'clock. At 9:30 tonight, police holding a news conference announcing that the killer of 2 Brown University students is also dead. The shooting happened on Saturday. 2 students shot and killed, and 9 others were injured. Aerial footage right here after the shooting as police arrived to investigate. The shooter identified tonight as Claudio Valente, a 48-year-old Brown University student and a Portuguese national. Police tonight saying he took his own life. Here's ABC's Christian Cordero with tonight's news conference.
Tonight, our Providence neighbors can finally breathe a little easier.
Tonight, a 6-day-long manhunt ends at a storage facility in New Hampshire. Authorities say that is where the suspect in Saturday's mass shooting at Brown University has been found dead from a self-inflicted gunshot wound.
An individual was identified as Claudio Neves Valente, date of birth, and he was a 48-year-old man.
Federal and local law enforcement swarmed the facility some 80 miles north of Brown's campus in Providence, Rhode Island. Authorities credit this man who came forward with crucial information. Investigators were working to identify him after saying he came in close contact with the suspect.
Once he knew that we were looking for his help, he came forward within an hour.
Authorities say the shooter fired more than 40 rounds inside an engineering building Saturday afternoon as students were preparing for final exams, killing 2 students and wounding several others. Police responded within minutes.
Providence Police! Hands!
Surveillance video shows the suspect walking, at times running, near the engineering building in the hours before the attack. He's then seen leaving the area immediately after the shooting. And tonight, sources tell ABC News the Brown University suspect is also suspected of killing an MIT professor 2 days later. Husband, father of 3, and MIT nuclear scientist Nuno Loureiro was fatally shot at his home in Brookline, Massachusetts, Monday night. Christian Cordero, ABC News, Providence, Rhode Island.
Also here, you may remember in this case as well, the Louisville connection. Louisville Mayor Craig Greenberg's son, Ben, is a junior at Brown University. In a post over the weekend, the mayor right here described how his son and his roommates made barricades with furniture to protect themselves inside their dorm rooms throughout the shooting. They stayed safe until police gave the all clear. The mayor's son was not hurt, and he is back home in Louisville now. New tonight, President Donald Trump signing an executive order to ease restrictions on marijuana. The order will expedite the reclassification of marijuana from a Schedule I drug to a Schedule III. Right now, marijuana is classified alongside drugs like heroin, LSD, and ecstasy. However, the order does not fully legalize the use of cannabis. It directs the U.S. Attorney General to speed up the process to loosen federal restrictions. Well, this all comes after Kentucky saw the legalization of medical marijuana just in January, and businesses are starting to open from that change. WHAS11 night teams Clarice Shaley and photojournalist Levi Hammer tonight have opinions from critics of the president's move to a local advocate.
It's an honor to do this.
President Trump puts his signature on the latest executive order, this one reclassifying marijuana.
That's a good one.
I think that's a big deal.
The change caught the attention of Kentucky NORML, an organization focused on marijuana law reform. Their executive director, Matt Bratcher.
And we had heard rumblings for the last few weeks that this was coming down the pipeline, and I was just like, I'll believe it when I see it.
He watched the president order the change of the drug from a Schedule 1 classification to a Schedule 3.
We have people begging for me to do this, people that are in great pain.
The change opening the doors for medical research with the drug.
And so that aligns with what patients and clinicians already understand and what many states already, kind of do and address cannabis in this way.
Since January, medical cannabis has been legal in Kentucky, and businesses are starting to open. The Post Dispensary in Beaver Dam just had a soft opening last weekend, the first medical marijuana dispensary in Kentucky. Bratcher believes businesses may no longer be burdened with the tax form from this change.
Without having to do the 280E, they'll actually be able to make traditional business tax deductions and be able to make a little bit more money.
The national order is not hailed by everyone. North Dakota Republican Senator John Hoeven.
We have so many drug issues and so forth, and we want to be protective of our young people, so no, I don't think he should reclassify.
Tomorrow? Wyoming GOP Senator Cynthia Lummis.
I quite frankly just disagree with the president on this one.
One thing is for sure, people are bracing for potential court challenges over the order. With photojournalist Levi Hammer, Clarice Shaley, WHAS 11 Night Team on your side.
Kentucky Senator Rand Paul took to X to support the order, saying, quote, "The federal war on drugs has failed for decades because Washington insists on controlling what it cannot fix. President Trump recognizes that reality." Senator Rand Paul. Now, the deadline to release the Epstein files is tomorrow on Friday, and as co-sponsor of the Epstein bill, Kentucky Congressman Thomas Massie taking to social media today to prep the public. He also calls for people to pay close attention to how administration officials often go back and forth on their stance regarding the Epstein files, as he specifically called out the FBI Director Kash Patel and Attorney General Pam Bondi.
Because when they produce these materials, what we're going to find out is they are in possession of evidence that other men may have been guilty. And it's going to be credible evidence because they're going to be, I believe, multiple corroborating witnesses, i.e. the victims, who've given statements. And those are in the possession of the FBI.
The files are set to be released again tomorrow, where officials say a searchable format will be available right afterwards. Brand new since 6 to the fight to harness the power of the sun in Clark County, Indiana continues with a new lawsuit. The Board of Zoning Appeals in Clark County said no to a proposed solar farm about 4 months ago. WHAS 11 Night Team's Jose Alonso has been looking through this new lawsuit from the company that lost their bid to build on Hoosier farmland. Jose?
Doug, in my hands is 26 pages detailing why the solar company Bright Night is filing a petition for judicial review of their proposed project for commercial solar, with this topic being on the table after a rejected vote by the Clark County Board of Zoning Appeals. We wanted to hear from Hoosiers again about this action in court. Channeling the sun's energy in Clark County continues to be a divisive topic. Months ago, when the sun was hotter and brighter in August.
All in favor of the motion presented?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Nay.
Okay.
A tight vote from the Clark County Board of Zoning Appeals seemed to be the end for a proposed solar farm in the rural countryside. A victory residents like Christine Horsley celebrated.
You know, it's just important that our county has this land, prime farmland, out here for the future of our community, for the future farmers.
But the company behind the proposal says it's not over. Mahi BN LLC, also known as the solar company Bright Night, recently filed a lawsuit in Clark County Circuit Court, a petition for judicial review of the board's decision denying their application to build a commercial solar energy system within 3,800 acres of farmland.
They're beating a dead horse, and it's very frustrating to know that we're 2+ years in, and here we are again, and no resolution.
Hoosiers for this proposed project previously told us this is a chance to profit by leasing their land. Some had negative views on farming during public comment in June.
I have never been harmed by a solar panel, but to the contrary, I've been harmed by crop insecticides.
Public documents state Bright Night claims the board arbitrarily and capriciously denied their application without any rational basis whatsoever. But Horsley says the vote was in good faith.
I just don't understand why we're still doing this, but we were very pleased with the vote. Of course, the ones that are pro-solar were not, and it showed.
The board's response acknowledges and rejects several claims by the company and prays the court denies the petition. The lawsuit also questions the newly appointed board members' actions before voting no to the proposal. We reached out to the attorneys from both sides of this lawsuit and the company Bright Night itself for comment. As of tonight's newscast, we have not gotten a response to our inquiries. Reporting live in studio, Jose Alonso, WHAS 1119, on your side.
Jose, thank you. Very interesting new development there. Now tonight, the armed suspect who police shot this morning in the Russell neighborhood of West Louisville is now in the hospital after undergoing surgery. This marks the 9th police officer involved shooting in Louisville so far this year. LMPD says it all began in an alleyway behind West Chestnut Street at about 11:15 this morning. Police say the shot spotter system, which detects gunshots, did its job in an alleyway just north of Chestnut. The system alerted dispatchers of gunshots being fired. Officers found a man who then matched the suspect description and ordered that man to show his hands several times. The man according to police, reached toward his waistband, and that's when one police officer fired several gunshots, hitting the suspect and injuring him. A woman in the neighborhood says she's sick to her stomach to see another shooting happening.
Like I was telling him, I pray every day, you know what I'm saying? And I'm kind of a little tired of seeing this.
LMPD officers are required to release body camera footage within 10 business days of a shooting. The identity of the officer will be known in 72 hours from the shooting. New tonight, a man will spend decades in jail after DNA evidence links him to a violent string of sexual assaults. LMPD says 24-year-old Christopher Thompson was sentenced to 65 years in prison after being convicted of robbery, kidnapping, sexual abuse, and additional charges related to outbursts in the courtroom. Thompson was arrested in January of 2024 after DNA evidence tied him to a woman's violent sexual assault in July of 2023. Metro Police Chief Paul Humphrey sharing in a statement saying, quote, "This conviction sends a clear message. Violent crimes will not be tolerated in our community." Heartbroken families tonight issuing statements about their loved ones they lost today. They were on board that private jet that crashed in Statesville, North Carolina, about 50 miles away from Charlotte. 7 people dead, including the former NASCAR driver Greg Biffle and his family. The families tonight saying they are grateful for the kindness and support they have been given over the past few hours. Preliminary flight tracking data shows a Cessna Citation 550 leaving the airport at around 10 a.m., traveling about 5 miles, then making a left U-turn right back toward the airport and crashing as it reapproached the landing. Biffle is a licensed pilot, but it is not yet clear who was actually flying the aircraft or the reason for the crash. The NTSB will be giving more details about the crash in North Carolina tomorrow. Next on the night team, gone but never forgotten. Today, Louisville Metro officers and family remembering Officer Zach Cottingham 4 years after his death on the interstate near downtown Louisville.
And here's a check of today's Kentucky Lottery jackpots. Mega Millions, $90 million. Powerball, $1.5 billion.
The Kentucky Lottery, funding education